Hi everybody and welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video we're going to be having a look at how to win wars, how to win more wars, how to win punch-ups. And for those of you that will know a little bit about Marvel Strike Force will know that you're not actually supposed to win all your wars. They do want to set you up for a 50-50 because of how they do the matchmaking. So the more you win, the harder the opponents you're going to get. But usually in my alliance we tend to have about a 6-2 win rate per season. So we're not 6-2, sorry, a 4-2 win rate for the 6 wars. So we'll win 4 and we'll lose 2 on kind of average. Obviously it does change. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be going over all of my top tips and what I do, and hopefully give you all some useful information and advice on how to win more wars. So we'll get into it. So the first thing that I want to show you all is my spreadsheet. So for those of you that know me or that watch me on Twitch or anything like that will know that I'm a big fan of spreadsheets. So me and one of my alliance guys and one of my captains, we created the spreadsheet. Also big thank you to one of my Twitch viewers who helped us with these really cool drop down menus as well, so big thank you to him. So we use the spreadsheet, and what we do is we use it initially to find out what the TCP is of the alliance we're facing, and it helps us kind of map where we're going early on and kind of what target to go for. So what we tend to do is most of the time we are punching up. So as you can see, they have 14 million more power than we do. So it just helps us mark the lowest targets in the rooms, and it helps us work out the layout. So this is something that we use. I do have a copy of this available. It is only available to subscribers on Twitch at the moment, or if you donate. So if you do want it, do come through on my Twitch stream and I can sort you out. So this is what we do to kind of help us, but obviously I appreciate not everybody has access to something like this. I know some of you might already do so, but when I first started out as leader, I was doing this with a pen and paper, and then we updated to a Google Docs just so that we could share it between the captains quite easily. So it made it a little bit easier to do, but it's super easy. You just fill out each of the sections, you fill out everybody else down here, and then you can put the rooms in as you found them. So this was actually reactor and this was actually bridge, and some was a bit of an odd layout, be having engineering security like this down here. This was something that we saw in the early gold leagues, but there we go. So that's the first thing that kind of I do to help us kind of win and manage what we are doing. Moving on into the next one then. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, you're not supposed to win every single war. I know that can be quite hard for a lot of people to hear. You know, sometimes people, they do want to try and win every single one, but it is okay to accept defeat. So I was going to record this video when we had our last war, but we were losing, and I didn't think it'd be really great to film a path to victory when you're losing, but it's okay to accept that, you know, you're going to lose, and pick and choose the ones that you're going to lose. So maybe you've got a really big punch up and you're thinking, you know, not fancying that. Maybe you've got a lot of members away who said they're going to be really busy. Again, you can decide, you know, let's have an off war, which we'll talk about in a moment, and let's just kind of accept defeat there. So it is okay to lose, it is okay to accept defeat, it is okay, you know, maybe you try in the first couple of hours of war, but they take down your armory and you just can't. It's okay to say to your guys, right, let's regroup, save your consumables, save your extra resources, and we'll try again in the next one. And effectively, by losing a war, it will ease your matchmaking. Doesn't always help, but I have noticed a bit of a trend with me and my alliance. And then, so I did just mention off wars. So my next kind of tip and trick to path to victory is to change up when you're going to have your off wars. So lots of alliances, and you'll probably hear this from like other content creators and things like that, they have their off wars on a weekend. So they have their 2 on wars through the week, and then they have their off wars on a weekend. Off war usually means in most alliances that you don't have to meet the war requirements. So some alliances will have 4 extra attacks or 2 extra attacks and 2 boosts. Some of them will have those extra requirements needed straight away. So very top competitive alliances, usually you have to do like 6 attacks in the first hour of war, something like that. So my requirement with my alliance is you have to do, I think it's at least 3 or 4 attacks. I say before you go to bed because that is how it works out with the time zones. So war starts at 8 p.m. for me, so before I go to bed I have to get my attacks in. So most alliances will have 2 on wars through the week where you have to meet those kind of strict, quite competitive, high demand requirements, and then usually on the weekend war it doesn't matter, so you don't have to use your extra attacks, you don't have to do them quickly. And that's why we win quite a lot of the time on a weekend, because we often find the alliances that we are facing are having off wars, and we actually lose more wars on a Tuesday because it's the first one of the week. Alliances have had time to restock their resources and they tend to go a bit harder. So don't always have your off wars on the same days. Do change them up. I do think it is really important to have off wars, non-consumable wars, non-time constraint wars for your alliance to save them burning out and to save yourself burning out as well as a captain or leader. But do change up the days, and you might find that it is slightly easier to win on a weekend than it might be through the week. So that is something else that kind of we do in my alliance, and I suggest usually we judge by the punch up and how kind of quickly they are, or you know, if we've won quite a few, or if I know quite a lot of people are going to be away, then that's when we decide when we're having a off war, or sometimes I call them non-consumable wars rather than off wars, because I still want people to do their free energy attacks. So the next thing, some of you might notice on here, I don't do the toes method. The toes method, or the full clear method, whichever you like to call it, is the 2 on each side. Yes, we do full clear quite often, probably about once or twice a week. Again, I've got quite a few of my alliance members away at the moment, going on holiday, obviously, as the world's getting back to normal, so we haven't full cleared for this war, but I don't do toes, and I don't do toes in my alliance, and you kind of see why. This is actually a really great example. The reason I don't do toes, so toes stands for 2 on each side, which is what a lot of the top alliances do, and why it doesn't work for my alliance, because of how much we're punching up, but the amount of times when we've tried to mark multiple targets, a bit like what we've done here, and we've half cleared both rooms, we haven't full cleared one room. So now, before we kind of got into platinum, this would happen with, say, marking bridge and reactor, and we would half clear both, and we wouldn't be able to full clear one of them because we would get stuck on the teams. So you're actually better off, once you've got your global rooms down, you're actually better off focusing your resources into that one room and getting it full cleared before moving on. And what I will tend to do once we've got all the global rooms down, if you want to know what I'm talking about, I do have another video which I will link at the end, if you want to see what I kind of mean by the global rooms and the buff rooms, is I will mark something like bridge and reactor, or bridge or reactor, and then I'll mark like flight deck 2 if we've half cleared it, for those slightly easier targets. So I do keep a mixture of targets, but we don't do the toes method, just in case we come up against a really kind of defense heavy opponent, and so that we don't get stuck on these kind of 2 half rooms here. Luckily for us, it's not kind of nail biter down to the wire, but we have had it a few times where if we'd focused all our efforts on one room and got that full cleared first, we would have maybe won, or would have got those points, or we wouldn't have got stuck behind those big teams. So if you are an alliance that punches up quite a lot, or maybe sometimes you don't quite have the activity for a full clear, then not doing the toes method can be a bit more beneficial. I am a fan of doing multiple targets, so marking more than one room, absolutely, but we don't do the full clear method. We do our own method over here. And then finally, my last kind of top tip of what I do to help my alliance is I do try and prioritise medbay and barracks over armories when we're taking down rooms. I have found that because of the amount we punch up, and because of the how often we punch up. We actually do better as an alliance if we get their medbay and barracks down first and then their armory. It just helps make the teams obviously all round a little bit lighter, a little bit easier, and we tend to progress a little bit quicker. And we could have a debate for ages about which are the most important rooms, which ones we should be getting first. That's not kind of what I'm saying here. I know all three of them are very important, but for us, we find it really beneficial if we get barracks and medbay down first. So often, again, if barracks and medbay or armory and medbay become available at the same time, I'll mark medbay for full clear first, and then on to armory or barracks then armory, depending on where the rooms are located. So that's kind of what I tend to do with my alliance. So those are my top tips for Path to Victory. They are very heavily focused on kind of the offense and your attacking strategy. That is where I feel victories lie. It is all about offense. It is all about who can clear the fastest, who can get the most points, and who can kind of run away with that lead. The other thing is, as you probably noticed, is I will avoid cargo bay as much as possible. I really hate cargo bay. I really hate those buffs that they give you with those 10 positive effects. It's just horrible. It's just not a great room for attacking, so I try and avoid cargo bay where possible, just because I really don't like attacking it. So that pretty much sums up this video. Not too much to say, but just kind of a few pointers for how we kind of win our wars. Thank you very much everybody for listening. I hope it was really helpful. If you have any other top tips, list them down in the comments below. If there's anything else that you would like to know or you'd like to see a video of, please put it in the comments below. Somebody requested they wanted to see my war defense and offense team, so I made a video. So if there is anything that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments down below. If you have really enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, the usual. If you want to come and have a chat with me, I'm live on Twitch on Tuesdays, Fridays and Sundays, so do be sure to stop by. Links are all in the description. But thank you very much everybody for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.